welcome into the Coach and Bro Show. It is a glorious Monday. As you can see, I'm outside of the friendly confines, down here in parts unknown, which is a wrestling term. And boy, do I love it when I look into our chat and I already see 2 super chats that are sitting in there wanting to be a part of the show. Now, my name is the Coach. I run BTT Studios. We have 6 different shows that we produce every single week, all at one link in video, and now all at one link on audio. Thank you to everybody that has sent me DMs and messages that you love listening to our shows now, that you can find all of them on Apple, on Spotify, and courtesy of our partnership with Believe. All right, we got a ton of topics to talk about today. We are the fastest growing show in all of pro wrestling, but not because of me. It's because of my partner, the most creative mind in all of wrestling, including JCW, which I was just looking at the numbers, and I got to tell you, they just continue to go up and up and up and up because of this man right here. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a #1 best-selling author at all of those places. Total nonstop agony. Get it right now in your bookstores or online. My guy, Rennie Ruru. Good afternoon, sir.
First of all, we got to address the elephant in the room.
Oh, my God.
What are you, in an underground bunker? Like, where the hell are you, Cole? I feel like you're 100 feet under the earth. Where are you, bro?
I've been trying a few different looks. So I got this light that I took a light and I attached it to my equipment, and I didn't put the light on here in front of me, left the light on the back, and it does kind of look like I'm getting interrogated on a bad Apple Plus TV show or something. But no, I'm right outside TBC Sawgrass, as you like to say. What's the course you always think I'm at? Pebble Beach?
Oh, yeah. Are you at Pebble Beach?
I am not.
You're at Where are you? Salty Grass? Salty Grass? Where the heck are you, Coach?
Sawgrass.
Sawgrass. Okay, there you go.
They call it the Players. Players. And if they didn't give me this facility, I'd be doing it at a hotel. The hotel's nice. Wi-Fi, very sketchy. It'd be like, so we got to be thankful.
Coach, I have to ask you a question because let's first tell everybody how they become a part of the show.
There you go. Now, there's a lot of you new because our numbers continue to climb. So a lot of you are new out there. If you're just finding us, we normally don't talk about golf. We talk about wrestling. But we want you to be a part of the show. We're completely interactive. How can we do that, Vince?
Speaking of numbers, too, JCW's, you talked about it, latest episode that came out on Thursday night is going to go over 50,000 today.
That's crazy.
That's the highest watched episode of Lunacy in its history, and that's all you guys watching the show. Thank you.
All of you.
But if you guys do it. Yes, if you guys want to be a part of this show, man, you do it through a $5 sticker or donation, super sticker or donation. We'll throw your comment up on the screen. We'll talk about your question, your opinion, whatever it is that you want. But, Coach, a lot of people like to take that to the next level. And
they most certainly do. Anything $10 or more, you get a spot on the incredibly popular Coach and Brolette wheel, which, by the way, last week we had the biggest Coach and Brolette wheel we've ever had. I mean, almost. I felt like we couldn't have fit any more names onto the wheel. That's how many we had. Yeah. It really, really is crazy. So, if you guys do that, then you can potentially win a gift card to buy a piece of merch, and then all we ask is send us a picture, so we can have you as a representative of the brand as we continue to put our fingerprints. Vince, I got notes this week from Germany, from New Zealand, from Australia. It just continues to grow. It's crazy, which I believe that's also helping JCW, don't you?
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, Coach. Looking at the numbers and the growth every week, it's unbelievable. But, Coach, I want to talk to you about something today. I promise you guys, you're not going to hear this on any other wrestling show, but
let's do it.
I am not kidding around. I am not joking. This is something that I don't understand.
Okay.
And we got the coach here, and the coach is, he's in, professional golf. This is what he does for a living. So Coach knows hundreds of professional golfers.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Coach, in our lifetime, between you and I combined, we've seen hundreds of teams in sports across the board win championships.
Yes.
And up at that podium, whether it's after winning the Super Bowl, in the locker rooms, for baseball and hockey, we've seen a million. I remember the first one I saw was the 69 Mets.
Wow.
I remember seeing the locker room of this. I've seen hundreds of them. You've seen hundreds of them. One of them that really stands out, and I'll never forget this, and I know Coach and the people watching this will remember this too, but there was a reason for it. When Michael Jordan won the trophy, and he broke down in the locker room, his father had just died. Like that.
Well, he had been murdered.
He'd been murdered on the side of a road, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
So when Michael won that trophy, and he had that trophy, and his dad wasn't there, that was probably one of the most emotional moments in the history of professional sports.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Coach, you've seen golfers win the biggest tournaments in the freaking world. Yes. Okay. I am asking you about this dead serious because I want to dive into this. I'm not asking you this to be funny.
Oh, okay.
I just saw the last episode of Unreal.
Okay.
And, first takeaway is this, bro, far and away, the lamest season. The guards were up. They made sure they didn't expose themselves. There was really nothing there. The whole last episode is all about WrestleMania, man. You talk about a nothing burger. But I swear to God, man, I don't know if we need to bring a psychologist on this show. Coach, what is it with the WWE and everybody crying in the back? I don't understand this. Why? First of all, guys, this is not a legitimate sport. So this isn't like the thousands of championships. This isn't about somebody winning the Masters or Pebble Beach. They ain't winning shit, bro. Nobody's winning any of their matches. This is a scripted television show, bro. Nobody's winning for real. Coach, I don't understand why every other person is on camera crying. And I really need somebody to explain this to me, because what is it that's so different about wrestling than every other freaking sport? Like, I don't understand this.
First and foremost, how dare you discount my tag team championship of the world? That's number one. How dare you discount your world heavyweight championship? But those two things, I joke, are kind of what you're talking about. And I think to defend those that are getting emotional, it's more of a, I've made it. They've looked at me as somebody who is worthy of being a champion. And now that I'm a champion, they're going to invest in me and my career and my character. That's what I take away from it when I see that. Just being honest. But I understand what you're saying. If they're crying from winning the title, well, you don't want to be. It's kind of like the Hall of Fame argument, Vince. When people go, "Would you go into the Hall of Fame?" I'm like, "There's not a Hall of Fame." Oh, isn't that disrespectful to people in the Hall of Fame? I'm like, if there was criteria, yes, it would be, but there's no criteria. It's kind of the same with winning a championship, no?
Yeah, I don't my God, that last episode, every other person. Now, guys, don't get me.
Which ticked you off the most? Which person crying?
Okay, I'll tell you which one I didn't mind. Okay. Liv was crying over the child. Can I tell you something, man?
Of course.
I'm watching Raw on Monday night, and Liv and Becky are in the ring. Okay. And here's the angle, guys. Here is the angle. Liv turns around to Becky and says, "I know what your problem is. You're jealous of me." Okay, bro, we've heard that 87 billion times in the business. So meanwhile, Coach, Liv is on the last episode of Unreal.
Yes.
And she's getting all worked up and all emotional, and she's talking about her upbringing and being poor and how difficult it was and thinking she was a nobody. Where's that story on the show? Where is that story on the show?
So how would you have done it, knowing that it comes out at the same time as what we're doing in real time? How would you have used that in the show, or would you have told the story over the course of 3 or 4 weeks?
I would. You make me give stuff away for free, Coach.
I'm just asking questions. I'm just the host.
Coach, it is real simple.
Okay.
With all those 90,000 people coming out of NXT with no characters, no nothing, you mean to tell me that there can't be somebody from Liv's past who used to bully her when she was a teenager and a little girl and poor and going to school with peanut butter sandwiches? You mean to tell me there can't be somebody that was there during that time, and now the heel reminds Liv of who she was? And now she starts getting in Liv's head. You're no different now than you were then. And now you have Liv starting to doubt herself, and all that stuff starts coming back. Now she does the sit downs with Michael Cole, and we hear all about that story. You're going to sit here and tell me that you're jealous of me is a better story than that story?
Well, that would be, I think they call it two things. That would be character development. Is that what they would call that you're talking about? Character
Coach, remember, we talk about this all the time, man. Remember Rocky, on the beach? I'm afraid, okay? For the first time in my life, I'm afraid. Remember that we saw a vulnerable Rocky? You get in. Every time we see Liv, she's cocky, she's arrogant. You're jealous of me. I'm this, I'm that. Bring back somebody from her past and let them tell us who she was. Now she gets in that self-doubting mode. My God, there's so much meat on the freaking bone, but yet she could say it on this show. Now, guys, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Maybe Liv doesn't want to go there. I'm always giving the WWE the benefit of the doubt. But my conversation with Liv would be, Liv, do you know how many little girls are out there, or teenage girls, feeling the way you felt?
1,000%.
No hope, no place to go. My entire life is, you know how many girls like that are out there? But I don't understand. I'm watching this show. Liv gives me that little tidbit, and I'm like, okay, I want to hear about that, Liv. Why was it so hard? What happened? Was your a single parent raising you? Did your father leave? I want to know what the story is.
I do too. Maybe, and you could also explain to her there's probably a much bigger audience watching Unreal. If she's willing to talk about it in Unreal, then probably watch the shows live. I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine. I love what you're saying, because that adds sympathy. If you're a heel, it can add a lot of heat. But then also, when you want to turn her baby face, because right now all you're describing to me, and when I watch her, because I am such a big fan of how far she's come, but we're talking over a decade now in the WWE. She's been there for more than 10 years. Right. And all we know is the annoying, of all time.
Yeah.
That's what she is.
Right.
There's no levels or depth to her character, and what you're describing is depth.
When's the last time in the WWE, guys? When is the last time we saw a wrestler doubting themselves?
100%.
When is the last time that probably is the number one story to get the fans how many times do the fans love to chant, "You still got it, you still got it"?
It's one of their favorite things.
Right. The number one story is when you start doubting yourself, do I have it anymore? And that heel's getting in her head and talking about all the times I beat you as a child. I mean, my God, come on, guys.
It is. And the other thing is also, that is real stuff that's going on backstage with all these guys. Everybody's paranoid. Everybody is scared of their spot, especially right now. Right now, when you're like, man, if I don't get on TV or if I don't do something great, then I may be getting a call from upstairs saying, listen, you haven't been on TV in a minute. You haven't done anything in a minute. So to me, you're also describing something, Vince, that is very real backstage right now.
Then the one I didn't mind so much was Graham Horns, Valkyrie, Velcro. I didn't mind her so much because what she was dealing with injury. Yeah. You could tell like she was dealing with injuries, but that's another one. Bro, the girl is going out there with ram horns, which basically have a satanic undertone to them. Okay, it's a satanic sign. Where's that story, bro? Where is that story with this? Do you believe in Satan? What is going on there? There's stories for every single one of these people if you just look for them, Coach.
Do you think that the creative team is not looking at Unreal, or maybe it's just, and man, this would be sad if this is the case, maybe they don't know the talent that deeply?
That's bingo. Bingo, Coach. That's it right there. I'm not going to say that deeply. I'm going to say not at all.
At all.
Because if I'm sitting down with her, that's my first question. What the horns? What inspires that? Why do you go out like that? Tell me a little bit. There's a story there, bro. You don't get your gear made that way unless there's something behind it. And
1,000.
Bro, a couple of episodes back, remember she had that pottery that was broken and she fixed it and she told the story about healing herself. That's a character right there, guys. What are we doing, man?
There's so many people that are talking about this. They're not talking about, somebody sent me a note on Twitter. They said, Coach, the wrestling matches were crap or something like that. I said, guys, the wrestling matches are just the filler. It's everything else around it, the storytelling, the depth of character, all the stuff that you're talking about, that not only is it 101, but I wonder if when a new writer comes in, because this is where I always got frustrated when I was there, is somebody new come in and they're scared to death after 3 months and somebody says, well, they can't write or they're not creative, or when they've been terrified for 3 months. How many talent walk in the door and sit down the creative team and maybe fill out a questionnaire? Maybe do something to where the entire team can say, hey, we have this new talent. Blake Monroe, for example, she's getting a lot of attention right now. Why? Because I looked it up. Vince, she hasn't done anything since May. And you could argue that she's probably the best packaged female that they have. Can you imagine how frustrated she's getting right now because of lack of entrance, lack of matches, lack of anything? And you go on her social media, and every week it's, hey, follow me for a day in the life. And I find out that she likes this kind of coffee, that kind of whatever. And I'm like, they couldn't tell any of this with her? Why? Because she's blonde hair and looks like Tori Wilson or somebody else? It just doesn't seem like they're doing any homework, because I think it goes back to, Vince, to what we talk about. They're so busy trying to fill hours of television instead of what the most important thing is, and that is your characters that you're putting on the shows.
Coach, there's more to it than that, too.
Give it to me.
Those guys in that room, I'm not talking about the guys that have been in the business forever. I'm talking about the younger guys we don't know, okay? Mm-hmm. They're in that room, guys, because they're wrestling marks. Yep. That's why they're in that room. I remember, bro, I'll throw a name out. I remember Kurt Angle's wife telling me that one of the writers, this is years ago, one of the writers was following Alexa Bliss backstage like a puppy dog. Like a puppy dog. They're marks, guys. What that means is they're in awe of the wrestlers. What that means is they're probably afraid to have discussions with the wrestlers. Bro, this ain't about being a fanboy, man. This is about doing your freaking job. If you're a writer, you need to know everything thing there is to know about that talent, because you're leaving shit on the table, bro.
When I was, Vince, when I started in WWE, my first 2 years, it was me and The Rock, like all the time. And if you go back and look at anything that we did, every time he made fun of me, it was about something that I really, truly liked in life.
Right.
Whether it was liking Barry Manilow. For a black man,
right,
that's not like the coolest thing to do.
Right, yes.
So what did they do? Sing it for me, coach. And then kicks me out of frame. And then I grew up in Kansas. My mother and father's parents were farmers. So what we do? What about Bessie the cow? Did you like her, coach? We throw that in there. Like those things. But those are real life things for me.
Right.
And those are probably the things, Vince, that over the years people have brought up to me the most.
Yeah. No doubt about it. I mean, I would be sitting down with every single one of those talents until I pulled something out. And you know it, bro. I've done it a million times. You know when you're just having a conversation back and forth and they say that one thing, coach, and it's, okay, I got it.
Yep.
Where is that, man? Where is that?
I would probably argue that if we're being honest, or if they're being honest, that hasn't happened in years. And to me, all the stuff we're talking about is very, very fixable. It's very, very easy. And it would be something that talent would be clamoring for.
Yeah, absolutely.
There'd be a line down the hallway saying, I need to get in with Vince or whoever is writing. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Man.
Yeah.
By the way, you mentioned lines for Becky and Liv. Did you see that they took out a line from the Becky promo?
I did see that, coach, but I don't know what line it was.
It was the line when Liv was walking back up the ramp when she said, you're not even the best or the hottest girl that has slept with Dirty Dom.
Got you.
They took that out.
Yeah.
And I always contend whenever you have a storyline that is romantic between wrestlers, I never like it because movies are movies. And if I see a movie star who's married, I can get my head around that character. But when somebody's a character 52 weeks a year and you're faking like you're in a relationship with Dom, and we know Dom who posts about his real life wife all the time. And I'm sitting there going, how are we supposed to believe that this is real when you're both posting about your real life relationships? That kind of goes back to what bothers me about wrestlers taking their careers serious.
Yeah.
Like, are you taking your character serious, or is it just something you play? Because when Becky throws that line in, if you're a random casual coming in going, oh, snap, she's sleeping with who? She slept with whatever. And oh, no, don't worry about it. He's married. She just posted her serious relationship. That's kind of how that could go in somebody's living room, no?
Well, coach, and here's where it could also go.
Okay.
Dom is young. Mm-hmm. Dom is a newlywed. I would be very surprised if Dom's young wife isn't bothered by some of what actually happens on television. Now, again, guys, this is why you listen to this show, because you're about, again, nobody talks about this. Nobody talks about this. So I reckon, you like that word, reckon? But
I like that. I do like that word. Yes.
Come from?
Man, I don't know.
I reckon Dom's wife is very young. Not 100% smart of the business. There may be a little insecurity there when she's with when Dom's with Liv. I would almost reckon Dom had a problem with that line because he knew how his wife it would sit with his wife.
Oh,
and I would almost go as far as Dom said something and had them taken out. Now, guys, here's the flip side of this. And I'm not saying this about Dom, please, guys, in any way, shape, or form, because Dom is younger. He just got married. I think if they were childhood sweethearts and stuff, like I'm not saying Dom, but guys, you've got to understand that Coach and I saw many on-screen romances with married people turn into real romances. It happens, guys, all the time with people that you have no idea. You have no, I could sit here now and reel off 10 relationships that you had no idea about. So it happens. Yep. It's a thing, bro. Well, not so much now, but Coach, back in the day, they were always on the road together, so they were always with each other. Meanwhile, the wives and the husbands don't know what the hell's going on back home. So it's a real thing, but I bet you Dom was concerned about how his new wife would feel about that, and he basically asked them to take that line out. That would not surprise me at all.
So producer man says, so the exact line was, greatest champion who slept with Dom.
Yeah.
Obviously talking about Rhea. They've been together since they were 14 years old.
Yeah, I knew it. I knew that. Yeah.
He actually just commented on it, said he usually tells his wife, hey, XYZ is going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
Don't watch.
Yeah, there
Don't
you go.
watch.
There you go. Yeah.
Don't watch.
Yep.
And this, I guess this is the problem that not only I have, I'm starting to get more and more DMs, more people that I used to work with, a lot of names that you would know. Vince, just because we have a popular show and we talk about it, there's a lot of people out there that have a problem with the way that superstars are moving today. Yeah. That if this was, just use a random name, if this was Stone Cold Steve Austin and he was in a romantic relationship, which at one time he was with Deborah, and imagine if he did this type of thing, do you think that in real life that he would expose it, or that he would be posting nonstop on your IG? To me, I guess my point is, when you're in the wrestling business, there are certain things, if you want to reach the top, that you have to sacrifice.
Well, Coach, what you're talking about, here's what we're talking about, guys. They've thrown all that out the window. Yeah. Okay, guys, you've thrown it all out the window, and here's where we are. You've got a built-in audience every single week that, is basically, whether it's 2 million people, whatever it is, you're not growing that audience. Not only are you not growing that audience, now you're not selling tickets the way you used to sell tickets. So obviously there's some problems. Is that a part of the problem? Maybe we should at least look at it, because I got to tell you something, bro. Sometimes, man, we've got to turn it back, and we've got to bring it back to where it was. Otherwise, you're just going to have an audience that is diminished more and more and more and more. And like I said, this is one of those things. We say this all the time, me and Coach. This would not have happened on Vince's watch.
No.
Somebody would have been getting fined. Somebody would have been getting fired. Somebody would have got an ass kicking from Vince. This would not have happened. But now it's open game.
It's open game, and I think for fans of those of you who are watching right now, or fans that are casuals, or fans that are the diehards, I think all three sets of those fans, Vince, if we're putting a lie detector on them and saying, listen, what is the type of show that you like the most? Not even wrestling, just show in general. I think they would tell you something that gives me a little bit of a surprise, something that makes me laugh, something that I don't know what is coming. Because I don't know about you, Vince. I don't like watching repeats of anything. It's why sports, and it's why Monday Night Raw and SmackDown are so lucrative for advertisers, because people don't like watching the repeats of live sporting events. So if that's the case, and we know that, then why wouldn't we try to do the opposite of that and give me things that I can really look forward to seeing? Man, I want to see what Liv is doing with Dom tonight. I want to see if Liv man, she got exposed, and I wonder how her boyfriend, Dom, feels about not knowing what her background truly is. And you could throw him into that storyline too, Vince, if you wanted to, and be like, listen, until Becky exposed you, then I didn't have any, and I don't know if I can date somebody like that. And now all of a sudden you've got a little bit of dissension with those two too. To me, there's just a lot of ways to go about it, but you've got to sit down and do it.
Coach,
you got to sit down and do it.
I'm going to share this with everybody. I don't think he would mind, and I'm not going to ask permission.
Okay.
Violent J, I believe Violent J is 52 or 53. Yeah. But you talk about, there is no other 52, 53-year-old dude on this planet that has his finger more on the pulse than Violent J. Okay? I want you to hear, I'm going to read personal messages he wrote to me yesterday concerning JCW. I want everybody to listen to this.
Okay, I'm listening.
Listen to this. Because what I'm saying is, if I'm the WWE, I'm not saying do this, but what I'm saying is listen to this. Listen to what Violent J sent to me. I don't know how you feel, but I really believe we should go a bit more controversial. I think trends go in a 25-year loop. It's pretty much the same thing in music and fashion. Right now in music, the 90s is totally where it's at. That band, Limp Bizkit, is on top of the world again, and look how hot ICP is doing. This huge clothing company called Dolls Kill has geared all their clothing back towards the 90s again. The world really does recycle itself, Vince. It's our job to stay on top of it again. This clear-cut shit WWE is doing is totally not working. The world is so much on this Me Too movement and anti-controversial trend that you can almost totally see where it's going next. It's going to get super wild again, where the heels are super cool and the corny faces are lame. We should try to stay ahead of the curve. I believe controversy, it's where it's all headed. If you don't believe that, bro, you got to look into that. Now, here's the first thing somebody might say. Oh, we got sponsors. We've got partners. We've got advertisers. We've got this. Yeah, bro, you got all that. And you also got shitty SummerSlam numbers. And you also got shitty SmackDown numbers and shitty Netflix numbers. So what do? Do we continue to play everything safe and continue to see our numbers dwindle? Or do we stick a toe in the water here? Do we stick a toe in the water there? Do we try to do something somewhat controversial?
I think that is the word, Vince. I listened to everything that Violent J just wrote there, and I could not agree with him more. It absolutely is trending, which is why now I don't even – I told you, I stopped reading mentions because a lot of fans who are in 2026 feel like they have their finger on the pulse when they absolutely do not. They're like, no, this is how we do it now because I'm a fan right now. No, this is the wrestling business, and the business absolutely circles. And to me, when you look at the numbers that are going down, instead of ignoring it, and instead of saying, wow, let's take this guy off there because he actually said something that was truthful, how about we try, if you're only going to have 2 million people watching, and that's bottom of the barrel, right, and that is as low as it can get.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you try something to try to go back in the other direction? And also, you feel your talent backstage. The talent right now, 80% of them, probably 90, are not happy, and that's our next topic, with where they're at in the show and not happy with where they're at in their careers. And they feel like they are a sitting duck, ready to get cut out from underneath them because everything they're about and the show's about is not taking chances. And the wrestling we grew up on was the fun, taking chances, edginess, Austin in a beer truck, then Kurt Angle in a milk truck. That was funny. That was serious. Putting concrete in a Corvette, which ruined a $100,000 vehicle. Those things were awesome, memorable. And that's what the wrestling business is. And I'm not quite sure, not only if fans understand it, but if the people who are writing the show, that's to me where we've got to figure it out that are writing the show, because they're in that room all the time. And it seems like every week it gets worse and worse and worse and worse. And then people like us are, oh, you guys are just negative. Or JD, oh, no. This is what you're presenting to us. And Vince, if you have a bad movie and it only makes, like Rock's Moana, everything was negative because the numbers weren't there.
Right.
Like if you're investing X amount of dollars, then that company, they expect you to make that money back. Right now, that's what TKO expects from that show. Is it CM Punk's fault? Cody's fault? No, because their storylines are not good. So I think that's where we're kind of at, and that's what you're describing, which I'm so glad that you just read that thing from Violent J. Thank you.
And this is a guy, I'm telling you, bro, the hippest, smartest 50-year-old I've ever met in my life. He knows, man. He's out there and he knows, bro, these guys are still selling out freaking shows.
I'm telling you, the smartest people I've ever been around are the ones that can eat humble pie and say what we're doing is not working. And I think of all the traits about Vince McMahon that I did like, that was probably one of them, is admitting, okay, that was dog shit. We need to go over here.
Can I ask Producer Man a favor?
Sure.
Producer Man, if you can, because this will blow people away. I told you, this week's episode on JCW is the most viewed we've ever done. And I've been there for a year now, okay? Producer Man, can you please bring up the thumbnail for Thursday's show? Coach, I want you to see what the thumbnail is, because on the thumbnail alone, we did 50,000 views in 3 days because of the thumbnail. So yeah, if it takes a little time, Producer Man, that's cool. Pull up the thumbnail from Thursday's show, because it's going to make a very, very important note. And I will add, Violent J came up with the thumbnail. I will add that.
Okay. Producer Man, just text me when you have it loaded and ready to go, and we'll come back to it. We also have something else we got to get to. So Chelsea Green, Vince. You know, we wanted to start the show talking about Liv and talking about Becky and then Chelsea Green. And the reason I want to bring her up, and then we're going to play some of her sound, is she wins the World Heavyweight Championship. We said on this show, what are we doing with the interim? Because you don't know about Rhea Ripley. Make her the champion. Let her run with it. What comes out a day or two after we said that? Rhea Ripley. More serious than we thought. Serious injury, going to be out at least until 2027. So now they got to go back and figure it out. Well, when they do that, for whatever reason, and don't tell me she doesn't have heat with somebody. Because Friday night on SmackDown, they end up putting her in a tag match, and she took the pin as the World Heavyweight Champion. Well, during that matchup, she breaks her orbital bone. Okay? So on her, and I think we have this ready, Producer Man. We're going to go cut one. Here is Chelsea trying to beat the internet, who had the story correct, talking, and I want you to feel her emotion after yet another backstep.
Hey guys, so I was trying to keep this kind of private, but the internet knows everything, so I thought I'd come on here and clear things up. I did get into it last night. Stuff happens. It's live television. It's wrestling. It's an occupational hazard. I ended up in the emergency room, and I have a broken orbital bone. It looks amazing, all things considered. It feels awful, but looks pretty amazing. I have no idea what that means for me. You know, usually you guys have seen me like play into every single injury. But like this feels different, obviously. This feels very different. It feels frustrating. I'm upset. I feel like if I didn't have bad luck, I'd have no luck at all. So I just need to take a little bit more time to like process and to kind of heal from obviously like the head trauma that is going on right now. And then we'll see what happens. We're just going to.
All right. So you feel awful for somebody who I feel like this show, she's one of our favorites. When you watch that and you see the real life Chelsea mixed with the having the title always right there on her shoulder, what did you make of that?
I got to tell you something, bro. I swear to God, like there is so much crap that is right in front of their faces that they do not see. Okay? I would have them, and do it through social media. Don't even do it on the show. Do it through social media. Chelsea's going to be out for however long as they're going to be out. They're stripping her of the title. Okay? This is how you make characters, bro. This is how you make characters. So now you go to the next show, whether she's on SmackDown or whatever. Let her go out and cut her promo. Let Matt Cardona bust it. And let Matt Cardona say, Chelsea, you know this is bullshit. I know this is bullshit. Let him call out freaking Michael Hayes in his pink freaking suit. And let Matt Cardona cut that promo on Michael Hayes. And let Matt Cardona suggest this was a hit job. This was a hit job. You guys never wanted her to be the champion, but you had no choice because of how good she was. But let's face it, man, she was never one of your favorites. She was never one of the ones that you protected. Guys, please, all you have to do is pay attention. How many times, Coach, have you heard me say this shit writes itself?
Writes itself.
Pay attention, bro. Now Chelsea's on the sideline for a while. Now Matt Cardona is in hot water with freaking management. Come on, guys. It writes itself, Coach.
And what makes that so great is in the business, we call that a shoot promo.
Yes.
Is what we call it.
Yep.
And for those of you that are new to the wrestling business, a shoot is something that's real.
Right.
A work is something that's not. So if I walk up and say, was that a shoot or a work? Be like, oh, it was a work. Then I know instantly, okay, it's not real. This is real. Because in the match or in the night that they had, Vince, why would you ever have your world heavyweight champion who just won her title a week previous, why would you ever have her take a pin against anybody at that point? That was them telling her, you're not going to take a shot at Michael Hayes, which she did, which was warranted, and it was entertaining.
Yep.
And you're going to get punished for that?
That's the old guard bullshit. It's the old guard bullshit because if I'm watching this and I'm like, shit, bro, Chelsea's going to be out for a little while. Yeah, bro, we could put the mask on her and the whole 9 yards. However, we ain't doing anything with Matt Cardona.
No.
If Matt Cardona takes up for his wife and says, not only do I think you're full of shit, this was a hit job. As far I've been in the business for X amount of years. I know a freaking come on, guys, please.
You could even throw it out there that the orbital bone thing was done on purpose. You slow it down.
That's what I'm saying. It was a hit job. It was 100%. A hit job. They paid somebody to hurt her. And guys, that's a shoot. Guys, the Harris brothers, Ron and Don Harris, were sent home because they were told to hurt the Legion of Doom. And Ronnie and Donnie Harris said, bro, they're our friends. We ain't gonna do that. And they got fired. This shit is real and it happens, bro.
The more shoot stuff we can do, what we're trying to explain is the more shoot stuff we can do, the better it's going to be, because you guys sit at home and you have real life stuff that happens. Isn't your real life stuff the most important thing to you?
Right, and there's no acting involved.
There's no acting involved.
That's what people need to understand about shoot storyline and shoot promos. They're not acting. So they're feeling it like there's some reality to it, which in turn makes the audience say, holy shit, this ain't scripted. This is real, because they're not acting, Coach.
1,000%. 1,000%. All right, real quick, we have the thing loaded for you, Vince.
Okay.
The thumbnail. Producer man, if you could throw that up there, that'd be cut number 2. The thumbnail for JCW that Vince was just talking about, and then explain to us why this is so important. Go ahead, producer man. There it is.
50,000 views, guys, as of today. It just came out on Thursday. This was designed by Violent J. Coach, what's right in the middle of that?
Parental advisory warning.
Period. End of story.
Yep.
That's why they tuned into the show. Oh my God. What did they do on that show that they got to
we needed that?
It's that freaking simple, bro. It is that simple. You've got to give them something to talk about, guys. That logo right there got us 50,000 views.
That is very, very strong, by the way. That's very strong. And I'm so glad that you made that point, because now this takes me to this question for you. Because now I'm just like on fast forward in my mind, thinking about all the storylines in the last 3 to 6 months that you would need that for on any wrestling show.
Great point, Coach. Zero.
I mean, if you just go to SummerSlam and you had CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, what was it? It was, I don't like you, we have a history. That's no parental. Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, there was no parental advisory warning. And I understand wanting to play to the kids and all that. You can still do that. But I think when you're talking about going all the way back, the business being in a full circle, that a full circle, if you go 25 years ago, it was about stuff that on a Monday night from 9 to 11, it was the grown-ass adults.
That's exactly it. And if Netflix has to move the time back from 9 to 11, this is what you got to do, guys. You got to look at the programming that is on opposite. It's 9 to 11. Kids are supposed to be in bed. Bro, if it's Saturday morning wrestling, Coach, that's a whole different story. If you're on from 9 to 11 o'clock at night, you need to look at what are the other shows that are your competition. What are they doing during that time? That's what you need to look at.
You know what's crazy is that now, if you do that, even regular television, you're allowed to swear on it now. You hear S words, F words all the time. So the TV business has evolved with it.
Yes.
It almost feels like the wrestling business has not. Is that fair?
Thank you. 1,000%. Guys, you remember, man, one of the most popular talked about series out there in the last couple of years was Yellowstone. Yep. And one scene that I will never forget is there's a female character. It was Kevin Costner's daughter. Her name was Beth. And she was a real hard ass, like, bro, like she didn't take shit from anybody. Bro, there was a scene on that show where a couple of guys, because she was mouthing off, bro, they beat her within an inch of her life. 2 dudes beating up a female.
Yeah, you don't see that.
You don't see that, bro. But here's the problem. A couple of things. Number one, it's television and it's fiction. That's number one. And number two, guys, this stuff happens in real life. This stuff really happens.
Unfortunately, it does.
And bro, one of the most popular shows, and there was no sponsors or advertisers pulling out because it made total sense in the story.
100%. I think that right there is where whoever is the decision makers needs to either get all of the advertisers together, or how I would look at it is I'm looking at the ring. There's 9 companies that are putting their name in the ring. You think they're really going to walk out because you do an adult storyline, or you do a little bit of extra blood, whatever it is? You still have companies that are knocking down the door.
Coach, I will never forget when we went Attitude Era, okay? Vince called Kevin Dunn is. Do you know what their biggest sponsor was at the time prior to Attitude Era? Taste the Rainbow. Remember? Skittles?
Wow, Taste the Rainbow Skittles.
Vince called in Kevin and said, Kevin, we're done. Skittles can no longer be an advertiser on this show. We can't be having Austin throwing up middle fingers and then the commercial is Taste the Rainbow. So, bro, they ended the relationship with Skittles. Coach, exactly what you said. 20 people were lined up behind them, throwing freaking money at them.
100%. 100, 100%. And that's what's going to happen now. They just have to be willing to do it, and we'll see if anything will change moving forward. But we're going to keep saying what it is, because I also feel like this, that we're getting a lot of people contact us, a lot of people DM us, and I think when you watch the show, you can't tell me they don't take a lot of the ideas we talk about here, and they're trying to implement them. But you can't do all of them fast enough. You're giving us way too much for them to do it and say, oh, no, that's not what is going on over there. But that's okay. That's why we're such a smart show. And that's why you guys are coming here, and that's why we're growing. All right, we got a lot of super chats to get to, and then we're going to get to two things I got from my connections, and then we're going to close the show with a youngster catching some heat that should not. But you don't want to miss a couple of, what should I say, Vince, nuggets that I was handed to me yesterday.
Interesting.
That we need to talk about. All right, remember, $10 or more, and you guys can be as generous as you want. Anything that's $100 or more, you get a $25 gift certificate sent back to you, a gift card sent back to you. So it's really not even $100, but we just want to show our appreciation for those of you who are so incredibly generous. Let's start with Tom Brady. 7 rings. Triple H couldn't give us Oba Roman. SummerSlam first time ever. We've got Rock Goldberg at Backlash. HBK Taker, Bad Blood. Jericho wins undisputed title at Vengeance. He won't push 28-year-olds, just 40 to 50. Vince, I want to show you something. Producer man, can you grab that graphic that I sent to you earlier, please? I want people at home to see visually what the WWE is dealing with based off of Tom Brady's super chat right there. So, producer man, if you can. And Vince, this is something that you actually found. And the list of stars. So look at this. Look at this. So this is a picture. You see 2002, 2003. Am I in that picture? I don't know if I am or not. But look at the age in 2000 of the biggest stars in the business. And then look at the age in 2025 of the biggest stars in the business. What do you see?
Wow, almost a 10-year difference. Almost a 10-year difference. The average age, 32.3 back then, and today it's 41.5.
On average. On average. And if this was put in front of Triple H or anybody else, you say, guys, if you can't look at your roster, and I used to get so frustrated when I would do Off the Ropes and Sirius XM, and like everybody I worked with was a 50-some-year-old former wrestler. And I'd be like, guys, this is a problem. Not only can they not go 30 or 40 minutes, but we've got all these youngsters that if you don't put time, money, and effort into them, that when the old guys either have a career-ending injury or whatever it is, but I also think it's because fans are just tired of watching them. Can you imagine if there was 200 LeBron Jameses in the NBA that played for 20 years? Would they still be red hot?
Yeah. And this is what this is telling you guys, because it's for a long time the WWE has not been able to create new stars. We've been talking about this, guys, literally for 20 years. And that's what you're seeing here. All of these guys are the top guys because they've been there the longest. So that's what got them over. Time is what got them over. The longer you're there, the more over you are. And that's for every single one of these guys, Coach.
Which is why we're getting contacted, which is why we're hearing wrestlers that are backstage are so frustrated, Vince, because time did this. So when they hear Triple H sitting up on a podium after SummerSlam and get asked a question, and he goes, well, you got to work harder then. I like it because you've got to work harder. Can you imagine telling some of these guys that have been around for 10-plus years, work harder, when they can look at all these guys on this list and be like, but wait a second, I'm working just as hard as they are, but you're giving them the opportunity. And everything he said last week, I think, is going to be a huge negative for the roster instead of how I think Triple H intended it, and that is to motivate.
Coach, I think you mentioned this in a tweet. I didn't even tweet it out because I was besides myself. you beat Trick Williams again.
And
Then
I love Baron. I love Baron.
Yeah, nothing against Baron at all. Baron's a pro. Baron's a pro.
Yeah.
No, this is not about Baron. You're telling me Trick Williams isn't working hard? I've not seen Trick Williams not work hard.
Never.
Am I missing something?
And here's the other part, Vince, is in Unreal. This is where one hand doesn't talk to the other. Do you remember the scene in Unreal when they were talking about the next big stars and they were talking about Trick? And they're basically were like, man, he's got something. Man, this guy's going to be it for us, essentially is what they said. And I'm like, so they said this 5 months ago because that's when they recorded the show. But now in August, you beat him not once but twice by a guy who we love but still was gone. And he comes back in his first match, you beat him. In his second match, you beat him again.
And
so what does that do to Trick?
And didn't even protect him in beating him. You didn't even come up with a finish that could really, really protect him.
Why do you think that was? Because
I'll tell you why.
Okay.
He said the wrong thing to somebody.
He's got heat. He's got heat.
There's no other reason, bro. This freaking guy is a thoroughbred. Come on, guys. This is a guy you could put on every single freaking poster and he would draw. Do not sit here and tell me he didn't say the wrong thing to the wrong person.
Can you imagine? You know, his wife, soon to be WNBA star. Can you imagine in the NFL? Can you imagine this happening? This is the comparison that we're talking about. Can you imagine? Who's an up-and-coming star? When Patrick Mahomes was a second or third year player and you saw where he was going. That's kind of what Trick is right now.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Patrick Mahomes says something wrong to somebody and they go, you know what? To teach him a lesson, we're gonna sit him and we're gonna play Alex Smith instead and maybe give games away. Maybe give money away.
Bro.
Maybe do all that because he said something wrong.
Coach, any baseball fans knows this. Billy Martin and Reggie Jackson were exchanging blows in the dugout, and Billy Martin was not benching Reggie Jackson, bro. He couldn't stand the dude, bro. Was not benching him.
You never bench your star
Never.
to prove a point.
Never.
You work it out behind the scenes or you trade them or whatever. But there's nothing that I can imagine Trick Williams could have possibly done. When I watch everything with Trick, I'm like, what could he possibly have done or said to get him beaten twice after becoming a champion?
Let's again, Coach, go one step deeper because this is what you guys have to understand. Okay, there could be a veteran in that locker room who's jealous of Trick, who is intimidated by Trick, who sees Trick as a threat, and all that veteran has to do is say one thing to somebody else in that locker room, and then it goes around the locker room, and all of a sudden, Trick Williams is hard to work with. Guys, that's how the business works. That list there and all those years that we saw, that's how you stay on top, guys.
Man. I will tell you, Stone Cold Steve Austin walked out 5 times. Vince brought him back 5 times. Why? Because he made money for the company.
Right.
A lot of it. I'm not saying that Trick. We're not saying that Trick is Stone Cold Steve Austin. But in what they have, the teams they have playing with on the field today, he's a starter.
Yep.
That's for damn sure. And he's a starter that delivers.
Yep.
It's mind-blowing sometimes, the decisions that they are making. Let's go to Traffic Jam. Hello, Coach and Vince. Chelsea Green has a broken orbital. Yes. WWE Creative needs to give a mask to wear as a champion for the underdog storyline. Go JCW. I know you mentioned that's kind of probably the lazy way to go about it. And
I'm sure they'll do that because that's the most obvious and the simplest way to go about it.
That's exactly right. A wrestling historian says, Mr. Coachman, whose idea was it for you to turn heel at SummerSlam 2003? And how did you feel about the creative idea at the time? Thank you. I don't like to use myself, Vince, but if you use my own story, it could tell you why the old school stuff can still work today. Mm-hmm. The reason was I was too big to do backstage interviews. Vince wants you to be 5'7". Look, now it's basically all females. And so one day he came up, he's like, Coach, you can talk, you're big, you played basketball in college, you got all the backstory. because he knew me.
Yeah.
All the backstory to be a really good heel, but you'll have to learn how to work. You're going to have to get in the ring and learn how to bump. If you don't, then when you get your ass handed to you, it's going to look bad.
Yeah.
And if you don't get your ass handed to you, then you're going to be somebody who talks that never has to pay the price.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
So those are the parameters. So it was actually Vince's idea, McMahon, and he pitched it in the gym at the old building on Exit 9 on I-95, and I could not have been more excited. And it was the most fun that I've ever had in my career, Vince, because a lot of times they let me run with it, and they let me pitch ideas. And then Bischoff comes in, and all of a sudden we're like two peas in a pod, and it was just amazing. But it was like we all fed off of each other back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Brian Gerlitz, premium member. Vince, your story would be a good movie. Who would you want to star as you? Bought the Are You Enjoying the Show shirt, wearing it to AEW in Vegas this Wednesday. Let's go! Another purchase at the merch store. Let's go. You can always get that at the bottom of the screen during the show. I love our merch being seen on AEW. Who would you have star as you, Vince?
You, Coach, you. I think you could play me, Coach. How about that?
You think, by the way, look at his thumbnail. Vince, I mean, it would be a stretch. We might have the Italian part right.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, right.
Look at his thumbnail. It's our T-shirt.
Yeah, Brian's a very loyal brand member as well.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you. Plus, you have a spot on the wheel too, so you might get a new one. You might get another one. Who knows? Let's go to Hey, it's me, Scott. I was listening to Vince's audiobook, and there was a point where I paused because I had to do something. Later on, I resumed listening, and as soon as I press play, all I hear is my swollen.
Yeah, well, it's a problem, bro. The swollen nutsack doesn't go away. You live with it, man. Bro, I actually went one time for the one nutsack in Fort Lauderdale and the others up in Vermont. And it's called, there's a name for it, epididymitis or something, like where you got all this extra baggage in one of the sacks, right? So he's like, oh no, bro, you come in, bro. We go in through the abdomen, bro, and we fish it out. We fish out all the extra shit. Zip, zip, zip. Blah, blah, blah. You're out of here in 5 minutes. I never went back to the doctor again, bro. No, nobody's going in my nutsack and taking anything. Okay, bro. So I'll live with it. So that's why, Scott, it comes up every now and then because it's something I live with, Coach. They want to go in there, they fish it out, it'll come. Get out of here, for crying out loud. All right, what are we talking about, Coach? Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Very nice.
Oh my
All
God.
right, let's get back on track.
All right, let's go.
Back on track.
Tom Brady, 7 rings. He won't give us over Roman first time ever unless it's WrestleMania. When I was growing up, we would get these matches at Backlash, Taboo Tuesday, and Bad Blood. Yeah, I had a match at Taboo Tuesday. My goodness. He's right. It does feel in a certain way like the and I keep having in my head, Vince, is punk. I can't get past it. I just you talk about just sitting around for a paycheck. My God. But it feels like to me, every time they throw something on the whiteboard, they come up with 8 reasons why we got to wait. Or with Bruce, he's driving me insane on Unreal. He's like, we got to remember, whoever we bring up is not ready. He just repeats himself. And I'm like, wait a second. Why are we so scared to try stuff?
Yeah.
Because what you're trying is just the same thing and the same guys over and over and over. And that is obvious. So when they go, they aren't ready, well, this is getting stale.
Yeah. And
changing.
And if they're not ready, you protect them. It's that simple. If they're not ready, you protect them.
That's it. Big Baby Cito, spot on the wheel. JCW is special because of its polarizing characters, raw edginess, and willingness to go beyond the normal promotion. All I respectfully ask is to not let it go soft once the big streaming deals kick in. Is he talking about the show? Is he talking about
I don't think that'll happen, Big BB, and I appreciate you saying that because right now that show is currently being pitched, and it's being pitched for what it is. It's this is an adult wrestling show with controversial themes and characters. That's how it's being pitched.
Okay, very good. I don't want it to change.
No.
Who knows? I might be a part of it. If I pitch myself enough, at some point, one of my best friends in the world is going to say, "Yeah, coach, we could use you." Yeah. Like I'm just going to keep maybe every show. Who knows? Dan, a.k.a. I wanted to start a channel just talking about whatever is on my mind. You two are a big reason why I want to more than ever. Any advice you could give me, put someone else in my place on the wheel. Very nice of you, Dan. My advice to you would be do what Smartest Mark did. And if you want to you got to be specific, though. I know you just want to like throw random stuff out there, but it's got to be something specific or a niche. Would you agree, Vince?
Yeah, and I would also agree what you and I do, Coach. Bro, you got to do it every single day.
Every day.
You got to commit to the bit. There are no days off. When you say you're going to be on, you got to be on, and you've got to do it every single day.
That's it. Or if you don't, like next Monday, because I'm moving my daughter into school, you make up for it.
Right.
But you got to be there. Consistency is the word.
Yep.
Yes. There's literally, I think, the last time I saw 70 million podcasts.
Wow.
In the world, like 70 million. It's like it's crazy. It's a crazy number.
Wow.
And less than 10% get to 1,000 subscribers. That's how hard it is on YouTube. It's almost impossible these days to grow a YouTube channel, which is why I like YouTube. But for me and what we're growing, to me, it's more important, the social media, all that kind of stuff, because the YouTube views are important, but we get just as many putting up a short, putting up a 60-second bit.
Yeah.
God, so so I would just say try it, but understand what your niche is going to be. Let's go to Sanov. No shots at those offended. People found the Barnabas and Danny brawl distasteful. I said if it offends, it's entertainment. Entertainment is wrestling.
Yeah, again, bro, the whole idea is to get people talking. That is the whole idea. And obviously that was something that got people talking. And I'm going to tell you something too, Sanoff. Jay and I did not see eye to eye on that. I thought it was a little too much, to be honest with you, and Jay did not. And I said, brother, it's your company, and roll with it, and you see what the results are.
Man, I think, speaking of somebody starting a show, I think there would be a space for content for us to bring like 5 storylines from JCW and have you say, hey, why did you do this? Or why did you do that?
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
The out-of-pocket variety, when Sean said the Sunny Days comment, that actually shocked us. We know Dom isn't screwing Liv, so why risk your real marriage for a mid-storyline? When Sean said the Sunny Days.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels said that with Sonny about insinuate. Well, first of all, I guarantee you, out of pocket, Dom had no idea that line was coming. Absolutely no idea. That's why I think he went to management and was like, "Can you guys please?" That's. I don't have any information on that. I just think that.
Well, we've seen it happen a couple other times before, where I think talent thinks they're. We saw it with Tiffy Time and Charlotte with the divorce thing. She was like, I'm pissed off. I want to get a zinger in. And it also kind of screams what we've talked about a little bit, that maybe some of the OG talent, which Becky obviously is, maybe they allow her to write her own stuff a little bit here or there.
Yeah.
That's possible. That's possible. Hitesh, biggest thing about in-ring is getting people to want you to win or to lose. Since 2002, there have been major stars who don't. They do video game style.
Yeah.
Quite sure what you mean there, Hitesh.
Yeah, well, we just talked about that with Roman and Seth. Why did you care who won and who lost in that match?
Correct.
Yeah.
You're right. One more, Hitesh. Oba, Trick, Logan, Breaker, Theory, rumored to be who WWE wants to build everything around. Where is Jacob, Solo, Dom? Theory has flopped continuously. We're going to get back to 2 of those names here in a second.
That's a man. If they want to build Trick, they're doing it in a weird way.
Interesting spot. Very interesting. All right, we'll do 4 more, and then we'll get to the rest at the end because I do want to hit on some information I do have. GTO 2990 premium member. What does it mean to pay your dues in the industry? Big talk over the weekend for Avery Styles Jr. and not setting up the ring at GCW. AJ took up for his son and said he wasn't paid to do such tasks. You know what? Let's just hit it right here because that was going to be our last one. So basically, in a nutshell, AJ Styles' son went to a GCW show, and Natalya put him over for being on the show and wrestling and whatnot. And this 20-year vet, his name's Eric Cannon, goes off about him not setting up the ring. And when you pay your dues, you show up and you set the ring. And Vince, this could not be more out of pocket for a wrestler to do this. I want to know your reaction first because I know how I feel about a no-name veteran going after a superstar's son who I promise you the promoter did not want him setting up the ring and doing that sort of thing for that show.
Yeah, but this is one of those things, guys, that this is a thing in wrestling. It's a thing, man. Bro, JCW, the crew sets up the ring. The crew.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, the wrestlers I'm talking about.
I understand.
It's a thing. That's Coach. I remember working a show overseas and I helped them break down the ring. It's a thing. But I guarantee you this: AJ's son was never told about this. AJ probably didn't even think about telling him this, but you know, this is one of those things in wrestling, just like not shaking somebody's hand, God forbid. This is one of those things in wrestling that just goes on as tradition, Coach.
And that's kind of what I meant was if he didn't ask this young kid to, and I think it might have been his first match, maybe his second match. He's there because the promoter wants the AJ Styles rub.
Yeah,
Let's be honest.
Right.
So if I'm this Eric Cannon, who is a 20-year veteran that nobody knows, and you feel so passionate about this, then why don't you send, and you're doing it for the right reasons, because going out on social media and blasting Natalya,
right.
Kid, I mean, just a bad look, especially when nobody knows who the hell you are.
Right.
If you're so passionate, Vince, about helping the business, send him a text. His dad. Be like, hey, listen, you know, I'm sure your son's going to be out at more of these indie shows, and he didn't help with this. Maybe you want to talk to him and tell him, hey, because I do think it's a good idea for him to learn how to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's no question.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean,
don't
bro,
blast on social media.
Yeah, especially when you're young, bro. You got to be smartened up on so many things, man.
Mm-hmm.
You just do not know, guys. I mean, it's really that simple, and especially if this was his first big match. You know he's nervous. You know he's concentrated. He's not thinking about that, man.
No. He is thinking about making sure the last name is taken care of. My dad's proud of me.
Exactly.
There's a lot of pressure on a kid like that.
Yeah.
Smartest Mark alive, our man from Down Under. He says, mark my words, once Netflix don't renew their option, that will trigger the biggest downfall the WWE has ever had. No platform will pay them as much as what they swindled Netflix into. Chat 1 of 3. He then goes on to say, and what happens when you get a 50% decrease in revenue? More pay cuts, more mass exodus, more panic, and they don't have the creative minds to pick up the pieces. Number 3, AEW, on the other hand, are building. Numbers are trending up, and they are not a public company. They will never experience such a drastic drop in revenue that hinders their whole business plan. There's no question, Vince, that some of what he said there is correct, some maybe not so much. But the bottom line is this, that over the years of time, that Vince has gotten very lucky to get deals at certain times.
Yeah.
If their rights were up today, I don't think they'd get $5 billion.
Yeah.
With the ticket sales and all that kind of stuff. It's always about timing and when it happens. No,
absolutely. And you know what the network needs. Netflix needed the WWE at that time. When that contract is up, it's going to be a different time and a different picture and different circumstances.
And it's also going to be different for ESPN. So their app is going to be 5 years into it.
Yeah.
They just happened to sign with ESPN when the app was launching.
Yeah.
And they needed to bet on a company that was selling tickets and has a pay-per-view background. Because that's essentially what it is. It's a $30 pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So it's really all about timing. I mean, look at Paramount Plus. They're not getting their money back, Vince, for the UFC, but they got $7.7 billion.
Yeah.
Because Paramount Plus needed a live event thing that they had under contract.
Yep, exactly.
All about timing. All about timing. All right, so 2 things, and then we'll get to the rest of the super chats and get out of here. What a great show today. So, Vince, I got some information yesterday because a lot of this is floating around out there on social media, and I had it confirmed to me 2 different things. One, the Cody Rhodes heel turn is 1,000% going to happen. 1,000% going to happen. And I don't think that's like earth-shaking news or anything, but I was confirmed with that. The other big one is this, because we've been questioning it here on the show a lot, and that is the use of Braun Breaker. I had it confirmed to me that he is pissed. That was the word that was used. Pissed that how he's being used backstage and how he's being used in the Vision, and that they are really, really high right now on Austin Theory. And when you're pushing one person in a faction, it can make another person take a step back. And everything we've seen on Unreal and everything that we believe they should be doing with Braun Breaker believes they should be doing with Braun Breaker. And so now he also reportedly doesn't really get along with Logan Paul that well backstage. And the last thing is that Paul Heyman, now that Brock is gone, that Paul may want to hitch his wagons to the biggest star possible. And that would only make sense if it was Braun Breaker. But if they're not pushing him, then would it make sense to creative to put Paul with Braun Breaker? I know that was a lot. What do you make of it?
Oh, man, I saw that scene on, I think it was Raw, where Obafemi shook hands with Paul Heyman, and I was like, God, no. Like, please, 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 God, no. You know, guys, here's the funny thing. We talk about the old school, you know, punishing people, building up the ring, this, that, and the other thing. Guys, if you're seeing what I'm seeing, okay, and you're seeing Braun Breaker and you're seeing Austin Theory, and you put these 2 guys back to back, and the question is, who's the money? 9 out of 10 are going to say Braun Breaker. You're going to look at those 2 guys, and Braun Breaker is the money. Here's why they're behind Austin Theory. Because somebody likes his work. Because he's a better worker than Braun Breaker. That's what they're looking at. And guys, that mindset needs to freaking change. The wrestling business does not need another good worker. The wrestling business needs another star. And as long as they keep looking at the business that way, bro, nothing's ever going to change.
Goldberg's average length of match was probably, 90 seconds, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
Bro, Hulk Hogan was the worst worker on the planet. Hulk Hogan, bro. He dropped a leg, man. That's all he did. Come on, guys. Get over it. Good workers in 2026, guys, are a freaking dime a dozen, man. I'm sorry. They're a dime a dozen. I want stars.
It's why we hear complaining about length of matches on certain nights and length of matches the other way on other nights. If you're entertaining, this is why we were saying that Danhausen should not be putting matches with Dirty Dom. Like, make him the entertainment guy. To me, when I watch Braun Breaker, I see somebody who's as real as any talent on the entire roster. Yeah. And when he goes to put you in the shoulder, you look like he's going to rip you in half. And that, to me, is somebody I want to watch if I'm a fan at home, because I don't know what's going to happen with the impact of what he's doing. Yep. I don't care if Austin Theory can work a 20-minute match. And I also believe it's astounding to me how anybody that's an expert in the business and sits in that room can look at those 2. And I don't know Austin Theory, but I know what I'm watching. And I know that Braun Breaker is a can't miss. So why would you not put everything you have behind him, pull him into the room and say, Braun, let's work on this together. You're one of 5 dudes that we're looking at for the next 10 years. Instead of the opposite of what they're doing now, to where they know he's pissed. They're probably not talking to him. And you're getting the, when he comes back through after a smodge, hey, man, good job. Hey, man, good job. No. That's all you're getting to your biggest young star outside of Obafemi?
Yeah.
It's tough, man. And the Cody Rhodes thing, if they don't pull the trigger on him turning heel now, I don't know that they'll ever do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know that they'll ever do it.
Yeah, but also what that means, man, is, and this is probably part of the reason they're doing it now, because what that means is he turns heel against Randy Orton, and because he turns heel against Randy Orton, that program continues. And it's like, yeah, no, exactly. And it's like, oh, really, guys? Really?
I just wish that we could sit in a room and instead of people pitching things and Triple H saying, that's not how it works. You got to get over those guys who are ticket sellers, and have him understand that the guys that he thinks are the top, if you don't start mixing guys in with them and beating them, you're never going to move the business forward. Nobody wants to hear what he said last week. Not on a night when you had to cut the stadium in half, and even the stadium in half still had so many empty seats in it. Nobody wants to hear ticket sellers after a 2-night event where your 4 top guys that you won't put people over, Vince, are not selling tickets at the rate that you think that they should.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
It's 1,000% fair, Coach, and I'm not going to give them this. The story is right in front of their face, and it blows my mind that either nobody is pitching it or the people that would be involved are not in favor with the people making the decisions. It's that simple.
Pettiness. I tell you this, if those guys in that room, if they get clocked, they have nobody to blame but themselves for if indeed the pettiness that we're seeing is happening, and we've been there enough to see it and know that it happens, then you don't feel sorry for anybody. You're like, you can't let pettiness get in the way of good business.
Coach, and it's, guys, I'm telling you guys, it's the freaking body language, because when you go in that room and you see all the snacks and they're all hunchback in the chair. Bro, when I was working with Vince and I would be here and Vince would be there, this is me throughout the entire meeting, Coach. The mind, my mind. Okay, this is me throughout the entire meeting. There, it's like, yeah, I'll take a Sour Patch Kid over there, and maybe are we out of goobers? Do we got any? Give me a freaking break, guys.
It's almost like they shoot. It's almost like they're shooting at the end of at the end of an 8-hour day. That's the energy level in the room on Unreal. It's just like, hey, guys, you've been working for 10 hours. All right, bring the cameras in. Yeah. Bring the cameras in. Here we go. Yeah. Ed, sit up, Ed. Sit up.
Yeah.
Bruce, sit up.
Oh, man.
All right, a few more super chats and we'll get the hell out of here. VBDC Music says, we got to talk about Chelsea Green eating a pin 48 hours after winning her first world title. Does Creative actively hate the diehard fans? Are they punishing the Chelsea to hurt us? And now she is hurt.
Yeah.
It's astounding. I mean, the more you talk about her, the more you're like, what are we missing?
Bro, did you watch the last episode of Unreal yet?
I'm like halfway through it.
Oh,
I watched 4 yesterday and half of 5 this morning.
Did you see Vakor nail Liv into did you see that, bro?
Yeah.
She was going at 1,000 miles per hour. Now, bro, don't get me wrong, because yes, that can look bad, but that's why you have pre-tapes, bro. If it looks bad, you do it again and again and again. That girl came in at 1,000 miles per hour. Did you see that grapefruit on Liv's forehead, bro?
Big time.
Oh,
big
my God.
Time. Big time.
And you're going to tell me that's a great worker. No, bro. Listen, shit happens in wrestling all the time, and Liv even said it. Bro, you got to work that. You've got to work that so shit like that doesn't happen.
100%. 100%. I don't know what's going to help with Chelsea moving forward, but you could probably put her, LA Knight, kind of solo, but there's about certainly Drew McIntyre, but there's like 4 or 5 guys that if we had them on the show right here, right now, and we asked them direct questions that didn't sway them one way or the other, a lot of their reaction would be, because they're not allowed to be honest. We're not allowed to be. Clearly, I was not allowed to be honest. I didn't go after WWE on Off the Ropes on SiriusXM. I just talked about what we saw.
Right.
That was it. That was it. And I get punished for talking about what we saw and giving an opinion. And now it's out there. Oh no, they want all of them to be honest about what they see. No, they don't.
Yeah.
Because if they did, then Chelsea wouldn't keep going through this.
Yeah.
Because if you watch what you see, you clearly know you should be backing her more than any other female on the entire roster.
Yep, agreed.
Jimmy Fingers, my guy. Coach, WWE Creative was still pretty damn good for a short time after Vinny Rue left. Right around the time the NWO came in, Brock came in, Randy, Cena, Batista, etc. Who was doing the writing between 01 and 04? Well, Brian Gerwitz was the head writer at that time, and he's been gone since. He was Rock's guy. They had another pretty good writer who was a best-selling author. He only lasted for a couple of years because the schedule absolutely destroyed him. So I think back there, Michael Hayes was more talent and agent than he was anything else. And then Ed Koskey was like super young. He was super young. So it was none of the and Triple H wasn't in the creative room either. He was in the meetings, wasn't in the creative room. Venom829 says, hey guys, I don't know if you brought it up and I apologize if you did, but have you guys covered Vince and Janelle case ending in arbitration? How long before you think VKM makes his comeback? We mentioned it a couple of shows ago. Certainly it looks like the worst is behind him. But I think where I fall on it, Vince, is he's 81 years old. He's going to be 82 on August 24th. So I think a lot of people have this what's the word? Fantasy?
Yeah.
That he could come back and be the Vince that I met on his 54th birthday.
No.
But time it takes the mind out.
Yeah, it does.
And what do you make of an 82-year-old guy potentially making a comeback?
Nah, man. Again, man, we haven't really seen Vince in a long time. And the last public interview we saw with him with Ari, he looked every bit his age. And what was it, 4 years ago, guys?
Yeah.
Come on.
He was in the Hulk thing a year ago in Hulk Pass, but it didn't look all that great either. We haven't seen Shane, other than at a basketball game too. Jimmy Fingers right back at you. Great creative for Chelsea, Vince. Sadly, they don't have the balls to give us that realism when they are doing Sesame Street booking. I hope you're listening, Tony Khan. You can have Vince as a consultant via monitor writing this for you.
Wow.
I'll say this because I know that you won't. Is that God? We have a lot of super chats. Is that in sports and in opportunity, whoever jumps first is usually the one that benefits. And I know you won't say it, but I will. That any wrestling company, you've seen what you've done with JCW, which basically had no promotion and no nothing, and you've taken it to where it is in a year. And I know you don't want to give any more for free. I will never ask you. But whether it's WWE or whether it's AEW, in a snap, it would flip around because of how you think and how you write. Because they just don't have the experience. Just because they've been in wrestling doesn't mean they've been in wrestling writing. That's what you teach us.
Yeah, 1,000%, man.
Right?
Yep.
Right? It's not the same. VBDC Music, I think maybe Creative does this to Chelsea because they're vindictive against smart marks. It's not her that is heat. It's us. I think they do it because she gets herself over.
Yeah.
She even said in the video that we played, she goes, normally I lean into this.
Yeah.
Normally, she's one of those, instead of crying about it, she'll go on social media when she lost one of her titles, and she basically not made fun of herself, but created the storyline around her losing.
Yep.
Instead of saying, because what did you say at the start of the show, Vince? You said, why are they crying over winning a title or losing a title?
Yeah.
It's part of a story.
Yeah.
So how do you keep that story going? Chelsea is a genius at it.
Yeah.
I think that's why she has heat, which is the most ridiculous thing you can even say, Vince. Yeah. Why should anybody have heat for that?
Yeah. Nobody should have heat for getting themselves over.
No.
That's
You're
crazy.
making it easier on creative.
Yep.
You're doing their job for them. All right. Sean McDermott, Vince, how high could Stevie Richards' star have risen in WWF if he had joined the company in late '97? In his meeting with Bruce Pritchard, VKM wanted Stevie to enter as the fourth member of DX with HBK, Triple H, and Chyna.
Is there truth to that, Sean? That's the first time I've ever heard that. Maybe Stevie has said that. I don't know, but I've never heard that before. But yeah, man, Stevie, they called him Stevie Cool for a reason, man. Stevie Richards was a very, very cool wrestler, a lot like Sean, which may have hurt him in the long run.
Yeah. And I mean, I wish everybody could know like the real Stevie.
Yeah.
He's a weird dude, but a really good guy.
Yeah.
Who, he's the epitome of the wrestling business. He probably loved it more than it loved him back.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's such a hard thing to do. And when guys are on top, it's so frustrating because instead of helping, they want to just protect their spots a lot of the time. I'm talking about like guys like, the creative and stuff. But, man, I love when you run into a person who is so giving and they're not worried about their spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever their spot is, whether it's in the room or whatever it is. VBDC, P.S. I'm watching my first JCW tonight after Raw. Let's go. Watch it before Raw.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
There you go. Dan, a.k.a. says the Eugene character is something that can't be done today. Was there ever a time during his run, did anyone say stop doing it, add another random on the wheel? Well, since I was his biggest rival, no, we didn't. Because what his character was, Vince, was a person, and we never really said whether it was autism or whatever that is, but he just wanted to make friends. And because of how we wrote it, a lot of autistic people, they love friends. Yeah. Right? They love making friends. That's why they're usually like the best friend that you could have because they don't judge you.
Yeah.
Right. And then there's other, diseases that are similar to autism that are a little bit different. They call it on the spectrum.
Yeah.
Right. And now you're seeing a lot of popular shows about guys and girls that are trying to date who are on the spectrum.
Yep.
Right. That's all Eugene was. So when I hear somebody say, well, we couldn't have done that now. Again, going back to what you talked about, taking a little bit of a chance. Yeah. I think you could.
Yep.
I think you could. Netflix has the Love on the Spectrum show. Right. All he wanted to do was make friends, and that's what he did, and that's how he wrote it.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted to do. Aja Bhatti, first they say LA Knight is too old. Now they are saying Obafemi is not ready. Does it frustrate you, Vince, when you watch Unreal and you hear them say it over and over and over?
Listen, if you don't want to get behind somebody, there's always a reason why. There's always too old. He's not ready. If you don't want to get behind somebody, there's a reason why.
Man, there's a lot of video in Unreal that I think they forget when they're shooting it because it happens so much later that they forget that they say it. Like, especially Triple H. He puts Obafemi over to the moon.
Yeah.
Trick over to the moon. I'm like, do they remember they say this stuff when it's time for them to get put over to the moon?
Probably not.
Probably not. Moda Zeke 2893. Sorry, I butchered that. I know Vince always said that the marks will always watch and go for the casuals, but seeing SmackDown hit record low attendance, I think even they are done. Vince, the attendance is brutal right now.
Yeah.
Brutal. Like SmackDown's doing under 5,000 tickets.
That's bad, man.
It's bad. It's bad. And they're talking about taking it back to 3 hours this fall again.
No.
Yeah. All right, let's do another. Sorry, Ajay, go ahead and throw that up, producer man. I missed one. We got to make CM Punk look really, really strong. Man, we need to get him a Just for Men deal. I'm growing to like him more because of Unreal.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like, okay.
Me too. Yeah.
Love the dog and the Larry and all that. But man, he is the poster child. When they throw him out there in the main event of whatever, and you're a casual, and you're like, What if that was the face of, like, you remember Kenny Stabler, who played till he was like 48 in the
yeah,
league,
of
right?
course, yeah.
It kind of looks like Kenny Stabler.
Yeah.
Then you're like, man, this dude just looks old. He does nothing to help himself.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And Owens too came back a lot more gray.
Yeah.
You know?
There's nothing wrong with graying your hair or coloring your hair.
Yeah.
A million people do it.
Yeah.
Everybody on TV does it except for Vince Russo. But everybody else does it.
Yeah.
You're going to do it for $2,000, though. All right, let's rip through these last ones, and we'll get out again. Kind of a short show for us. They're only 94 minutes, Vince.
Yeah.
Only 94 minutes. Dante, I was watching some old TNA, and I noticed that Robbie E gave me MJF vibes. Why wasn't he pushed?
Robbie E was a great talent, man. I was a big fan. He's still at NXT now, so he's still doing his thing, man. He's still doing his thing. He probably didn't get pushed because I left.
Probably. Dante says, "Did you see what Kit Wilson said about Danhausen? Will he be in the doghouse for that?" No, I didn't. What did you see? What he said?
I did not see that. No.
All right, Dante, give us. You don't have to make it a super chat. Just put in the chat so we know what you're talking about. Then we'll hit on it. I'm actually very interested to see a current talent say something honest, not derogatory, honest about what's going on with Danhausen. Let's go to Brian Gerlitz. I was watching Unreal on Netflix, and Paul Heyman started crying. And holy crap, that melon is huge. Come on. We don't need to take unnecessary shots. That's Russo's job, okay? No unnecessary shots. Although, thank you for the super chat. Fans blamed Vince for Danny Barber's brawl.
Yeah, I want to address this, Coach. There was an incident on JCW this week between a father and his estranged daughter. And the father left the daughter when she was like a 5-year-old child to pursue his career in the carnival. Okay. Well, little did he know that 5-year-old daughter was part of the wrestling company. And now the whole story has come out, right? Okay. So we had a very, very, very tricky scene this last week. And this is cool that I give you guys some of the writing process, just so you guys understand. Because there's one thing that blows my mind that I'm going to get into in a second. So they had a scene on this past week's show where she slapped him. Okay.
The daughter slaps the dad.
Slaps the dad. Okay. On instinct, the father comes back and gives her a backhand. Now, keep in mind, this is his daughter. So it's father-daughter. Gives her the backhand.
Sure.
Now, to me, that backhand was enough. Okay. Violent J wanted the father to hit her a couple of more times. So that's the way it was shot, right? Mm-hmm. So we get back, and I was still feeling like it was way, way too much, right? Mm-hmm. So Violent J edits the show, and Violent J watched it back, and Violent J didn't think it was too much. And I was like, okay, bro, I gave you my opinion. At the end of the day, this is your show. You do what you want. Bro, it blows my mind that all my years in the wrestling business and all the companies I worked for, bro, people don't understand. I never owned one of those companies. I'm always answering to somebody
else,
whether it be Vince McMahon, whether it be Violent J, whether it be Double J. I did not have the final calls creatively. And in this instance, I didn't agree with Jay because I felt it was way too much. He wanted to keep it in there, and I'm like, bro, it's your company. If you want to keep it in there, keep it in there. But it's like, not that I'm not passing the buck or anything like that, but people don't understand. These were never my companies, bro. Like it was, I could pitch stuff all day long. At the end of the day, either Vince wanted to do it or he didn't want to do it, bro.
That's it. And I think a lot of times fans don't think like that.
No.
They automatically want to blame somebody. So they go with the headlines. Oh, well, people rip Vince Russo, so clearly it's his fault.
Right, exactly.
It's a collective in Violent J, and this is the way Vince was too. I saw it a million times. But the one thing I did like about Vince is like it wasn't like you sit around and have a meeting about it. He's like, nope, I don't like it, move on.
Yep.
And that's why we got so much done.
Yeah.
This whole sitting around and talking about it drives people crazy.
Yeah.
Let's go to Hey, it's me, Scott. WWE could have told us so much more about Nick Aldis. I'm sure TNA, their partner, would have let them use some footage, but no. Any casual fan watching SmackDown just saw the GM able to hang out.
What about that? What about that, Scott? Why didn't we see any of that? Why didn't we see Mickey James? Why didn't we see young Donovan about seeing his father wrestle for the? Oh my God, they missed all of that. All of that, man.
It was just one match, and then we'll go back and one pre-tape, and that was it. All right, so producer man has sent this to me. Kit Wilson on Busted Open said that some backstage were not fond of Danhausen's debut, taking a spot away on a premium live event. Wilson said absolutely not. Responded when asked if he thought Danhausen would reach the level he's at in WWE this quickly. Quote, I was there in Chicago for his debut, and I think that gave us a lot of question marks. It was a lot of people that enjoyed it. There was a lot of people that didn't. Again, that's the beautiful thing about this company, about this program, is that we all get to have our own opinion. Danhausen came in, and there was a lot of us backstage that didn't feel too fond about him coming on in a pay-per-view on a PLE, maybe taking our spots. So, of course, I wanted to be the guy to take on Danhausen, who had his debut match, me. Who put him on the map, me. And now Danhausen is popular ever, so I guess you're welcome. That wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
You know, one thing about wrestling, guys, and I will never, ever, ever forget this. If you guys go back and you watch, I don't know if you can watch it anymore, but while Cody was at AEW, he did the show called Rhodes to the Top.
Yes,
with him and Brandy, with him and Brandy. And towards one of the end episodes, you could tell that he was really starting to get a little disgruntled with AEW. And what Cody said was, this is when Tony Khan was getting away from the originals and starting to sign guys coming out of the WWE. Mm-hmm. And Cody Rhodes made reference to that, and he was like, you know what? This is a lot different than the company I started here with. You know, now it's about, a lot of it is about the shiny new toy. And that's what they do, bro. When you get that shiny new toy and, oh my God, we got somebody new, so we're going to get the pop and we'll be able to have some legs with that. Bro, that shiny new toy lasts for them 3 freaking months if they're lucky. And Danhausen is the shiny new toy.
He really is. He and I've been purposefully not saying anything about him for a couple of weeks because a lot of people, and they do this not just with Danhausen, but a lot of things, Vince, is they go, well, they're making so much money on this. They did it with the media rights deals, and then now he's making all this money. I said, yes, that's not ever what I've said. I said, you've got to be very careful.
Right.
On how much you put him out there. I said, I don't find him entertaining. Doesn't mean that an 8-year-old won't. But even an 8-year-old, if he watches Danhausen over and over and over and over and over and over and over, and you put him in really bad segments, the parents, the adults that are buying tickets to the show, they're going to get tired of Danhausen.
Yeah.
And I think it's already starting.
Yeah.
It's already starting.
And you know, Coach, I got 2 young granddaughters. And bro, it would blow you away how they go from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Like I'm always one behind. Like I am always one behind. And Coach, that window is like 3 to 6 months. You know, we'll go from Frozen to the next thing to the next thing. That's how kids are, man.
And it's funny too, because Kit, that's probably 1/10 of what he wants to really say.
Yeah,
I promise you that every talent backstage is very happy that Danhausen and WWE is selling 50 different items. 50 at WWE shop. They put his name, and that's, as a company, that's what you do. Yeah. That I have no issues with. If they're selling that many, then God bless them, because that's what you do.
Right.
But if you're the other talent and you don't even have a T-shirt, that's the one spot where you can't complain about that.
Yeah.
Because they have the numbers and they're like, listen, Danhausen is going like crazy. But then I would contend that by November or Christmas, they'll be doing like clearance sales for stuff that they've made that they couldn't sell.
I would agree with that.
And I undersold it. They have 73 Danhausen items at WWE.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
You can also buy a jar of teeth branded Danhausen.
That's
a jar of teeth and human monies. Can you imagine? Hey, Mom, Dad, can I buy some fake money in a jar that he played with at SummerSlam against Dirt? Oh, yeah, son. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that for $18.99. Crazy. All right, 2 more super chats. We're going to get out of here. Jimmy Fingers, he is unofficially the person who runs our fan club, and today you are the MVP. Because of this community, which we love here at the show, I considered podcasting, but I cannot do it daily. I went in another direction and created a meta page called the Suspension of Disbelief Era. All the classic footage when we all believed. 10K followers in 3 weeks. Go find it. Wow.
Very impressive, Jimmy. Very
impressive.
It really
is. It really, that's really smart, too.
Man, did you see the video Jimmy put up this week? Coach, I got to tell you something about me. A lot of people don't know.
What's that?
Coach, I swear, if I get in a shitty mood or a little depressed or something's bothering me, right?
If?
Coach, I swear to God, as corny as this sounds,
okay,
I have an instant fix for this. Instant fix.
Okay.
And I recommend this to other people. If you're in a shitty mood, guys, if somebody did you wrong, if you're really depressed, if you're really mad, bro, go to your TV set and put on any ABBA video you can find. Okay? So, Coach, ABBA videos always put a smile on my face, no matter what, right? So I put a post up. Next thing I know, there's a video from Jimmy Fingers. Jimmy's on his drums next to an ABBA video, and Jimmy's playing along to the freaking ABBA video.
You're kidding me.
Unfreaking believable. We should show that on our next show. It put such a huge smile on my face. It was unbelievable, man.
I want to laugh. I genuinely I was actually tossing it around the other day. I was telling producer, man, we need to try and start finding like one thing per show that's just fun. On my IG, which has really been growing fast the last month, I started putting like good videos on there, like like wrestling videos with a kid meeting whatever. Because I think there's this stereotype of me, especially new people. Oh, Coach hates whatever. No, I just like to have a good time and smile and enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And when I'm not, then I got to point it out because that's our job. But I feel like we need to start doing that here on the show, maybe a little bit. And I think this would be a great start.
Oh, this is awesome. You guys got to see. You'll see how great Jimmy Fingers is, really.
All right, so we'll do that on Wednesday,
2
o'clock Eastern time. All right. And if you guys have any feel-good stuff, whether it's wrestling or not, send it in. We'll throw it up on the show. As Jimmy said, this is now becoming a community of really good wrestling fans that are positive, and it's growing every week. So bring all your friends here because we want all of them. All right, last one, Sean McDermott. Stevie has talked about it himself. He had that meeting and turned it down after talking to Paul Heyman afterwards. I find it very hard to – again, this could be true, Vince. I find it very hard to believe that this had to be like right when DX was starting, because to turn down a spot with Triple H, China, and Shawn Michaels.
But you know what, Coach? I'm telling you, from the people I've spoken to over the years, bro, Paul Heyman had that influence over those guys at ECW, bro. He really, really did. So that does not surprise me at all.
Wow. Every time I see old stories, like I'm sure you've seen the video when they were putting Evolution together, and it was like 5 guys. And then I can't remember the kid's name, but he rode with Triple H and Ric Flair one time, and they threw him out of the group. They're like, we can't. I can't remember who it was. I'm sure you've seen it. It's on Instagram all over the place. And there was supposed to be another guy in Evolution. And then I think that's when they put Batista in or something like that. But there's a lot of stories out there, Vince, of what could have, what should have.
Yeah.
And boy, there is, like, people don't remember that on American Idol. Remember when Ryan Seacrest, after the first season, he's making $15 million a season?
Yeah, there was another guy before him.
There was another guy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being that guy right now watching Seacrest, who's made $500 million?
Yeah.
On all these, going, wait a second, but what did he do? He sucked up to Simon Cowell. Simon owned the show.
Yep.
And then he made Ryan Seacrest his only guy.
Yeah. A lot of people in the chat are saying Mark Jendrick was the guy.
Yeah, Jindrak. Yeah, Mark Jindrak.
Guys, I'm telling you, Jindrak was a great guy. He was
great guy.
He was a hell of a nice guy, Jindrak, bro.
And he was built, great.
God,
he would have fit in perfectly.
Yeah.
They just couldn't travel with him.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm telling you, they're back in the day when you're going to 4 cities and it was at least 800 miles, because I think the rule was, Vince, it had to be at least 200 miles in between cities.
Yeah.
Vince hated like close cities because it would hurt the ticket sales. So if you're driving 3 times at least 200 miles, you're driving 600 to 800 miles a week.
Yeah.
If you have somebody in your car that you can't stand.
Bro, you know Joel Gertner?
Joel Gertner?
Yeah, he was an old school manager at ECW. He's at JCW now.
Okay.
He's got a lot of heat in the car, bro.
With you?
I'm the elder statesman, so nothing bothers me anymore.
Okay.
But other people in that car, lot of heat in the car.
All right, so how many people are in the car every week?
4.
So there's 4. Who's the driver?
Jeff Lane.
All right, that makes sense. So Jeff Lane, yeah, you make him do a lot of the stuff you don't want to do. I get that. Yeah. I'm assuming you're in the front.
No. I let Mac Davis, Davis, who does the backstage interview. Mac's about 62, so okay. I let Mac sit in the front. I sit in the back, next to the person who's got a huge problem with Gertner, and Gertner sits in the very, very back. So there's 5 people actually.
So do you guys get a minivan then every week?
It's not. It's like an SUV. It's
like
not
an SUV.
Yeah, let me explain to you the heat. You'll explain.
I want to know the heat. I want to know. Okay,
bro. Listen, when we're going there, when we're going to the show or coming home from the building, okay, you got to make the pit stop, and for coffee, you got to make the coffee pit stop. You have to, bro. Right? So we make the coffee pit stop. Either, you're getting a coffee or you're getting a Red Bull, something like this.
Of course.
Every single time, bro, when we're in a hurry to get to the building or get back home, every single time, Gertner's up there ordering hot food, Coach.
That is rule number 1.
Every single time. And we're all sitting in the SUV with our thumbs up our freaking asses, waiting for him to get his freaking hot food.
So he's making you stop at a gas station that also has a Subway or an Arby's.
like a quick trip type of thing.
A quick trip that has a restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh God, those are hard to find sometimes too.
Yes.
You got to go. Okay, yeah.
And bro, for the record, because we hold nothing back and we like to give everybody here a little juicy gossip.
Of course. Big
Vito has tried numerous times to get him thrown out of the car. And I've been the one going to bat for Joel Gertner.
You stepped in for Gertner?
Yes. But he's running out of me stepping in.
Does he understand that that his chances are dwindling?
I hope so.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've told you my Rhino story, correct?
I don't think so.
No, I'll make it very quick because I want people to understand how important this topic truly is. Back in the day, we had a thing called the car. Like, we'd have to show up and they would take your attendance. And I had, I still have my issues because I was riding with Edge. He gets hurt. We know what happened there. And then I found Hurricane and Christian. So we became the car. So when we showed up, they go, hey, is the car here? And then mark us down. And that meant 3 of us were here on time. So one particular week, for whatever reason, Rhino was like, man, I need a car to jump into. And like we were together for almost 3 years. So we were locked and loaded. I would get the hotel. I would get the car. Christian would get the hotels, always a Hampton Inn, by the way, Hilton. And then Hurricane was simply there for entertainment. Everybody had a job to do. Okay? So Rhino somehow gets in the car. Well, Rhino does not have, how do I put it, the best read the room personality.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? and maybe or maybe not didn't always shower after a house show when you're now driving to the next town.
Yeah. And,
all right.
And he's a big man, by the way.
He's a big man. Nice guy. Big man.
Great
big
guy.
Man.
Great guy.
Yeah, yeah. And when you have a 200-mile drive, the last thing you want is getting in going, are you still in your gear?
Oh, yeah.
So this was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We're somewhere in Iowa. Raw's going to be in Des Moines, so we have like a 3-hour drive. We stop at what you're talking about. That's what triggered this, is we stop at a place that had a Subway and was a gas station. All right? Hurricane was done. Done. I was always the driver unless I was tired. So I had a red Gatorade. I'll never forget. It was absolutely red. We get in, and literally I go to take a drink of my red Gatorade, and Rhino jumps in the back seat, and he's like, hey, guys, just want to let you know, I land around 4:30 on Friday if you just want to swing through for the next loop. If you just want to swing through, I think that would be great. Hurricane does not even miss a beat. Literally has a drink in his hand, is drinking it, puts it down, and looks at him and goes, my friend, I do not believe that will be an option. I spit out my Gatorade. It came out my nose.
Oh, God.
Christian is banging his fist on the window. He's laughing so hard.
Man.
Rhino thought we were playing. He's like, oh, you guys are like, no, we're not playing. You will never be in. And he was never in the car again.
Oh, my God.
He goes, I don't believe that will be an option.
Oh,
it was
God.
so funny.
Yeah.
All right, Vince, before we get out of here, I got one thing that I need to address. I don't feel good about it. I don't want to do it, but we are nothing if not transparent and tell the truth. You said something, where are we at right now? Almost 2 hours ago, you said, I do not understand, paraphrasing, how somebody can cry in the wrestling world. Make it make sense.
Yeah.
Well, we have pulled up a video.
Oh, boy.
And there's nothing more I'm going to say. Explain yourself, Vince.
I was mocking crying, Coach. That was a mock cry. That was.
Is that what we're gonna go with?
Yeah, no, that's what it was, bro. That was not me crying, bro. Not me crying. No.
It looks like it is.
No, it's a mock cry.
Hey, chat. Yes or no?
Come on.
Is Vince really crying here, or is he mocking the crying? And I would just point out, Vince, that every time we talk about you potentially dyeing your hair, look at that.
Locks. Look at that hair, bro. Huh?
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing for a week or two.
Man, what happened? What happened?
What if we get like a streaming deal? What if we get on like Amazon Prime and they go, hey, we got to do a photo shoot with you guys, like and we get together. I mean, would you do it then? I mean,
I can't, Coach. I can't. It's phony, man. I hate being phony, man.
I know. See, at least I don't have to color my hair yet.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'd be oh, you know what happened? You see this right here? I forgot that was on there. I cut myself shaving today.
Oh.
Yeah, that was a Band-Aid. Cut myself shaving today.
Oof.
Yeah, I use a regular razor just like I would do my face.
Yeah. So what happened that you slipped up? What happened?
I was going at an angle instead of straight up, and I was doing it fast.
Yeah.
I was doing it fast, and
it happened. Game over.
It happens. Yeah, game over. Game over.
Yeah.
All right, so today's Monday. We're going to be back on Wednesday, same time, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Anything, Vince, that you could tell the people who haven't watched this week's episode of JC?
Yeah, this is a great episode to watch, guys. Like I said, it's probably at 50,000 right now. It just came out on Thursday. Just go to JCW Lunacy. You could watch this episode and all the back episodes, man. I think you'll enjoy the show.
I think you will too. I see a lot of people in the chat talking about Mean Gene Okerlund. Rest in peace, man. We have been. You take everything aside. Me and Vince have been able to know some of the great personalities in the history of wrestling. And Mean Gene, you want to talk about sitting around in a bar and drinking at nighttime?
And bro, you want to hear a very, very, very sad story, man?
What?
When Mean Gene passed away, bro, DDP was the only person who went to his funeral, bro.
Really?
Paige could not believe it. Like, Paige went and there was nobody there. And Paige was beside himself.
I cannot believe that.
I can't either. I mean, everybody loved Gene. I mean,
loved
everybody.
Yeah, I didn't know him well enough to go to his funeral. I'm not making an excuse.
No, I know. I'm just saying, but yeah.
All those people in the 80s and 90s, nobody.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody, bro. Yeah, yeah.
He was one of my favorite pre-tapes I was ever in at Madison Square Garden, WrestleMania. Him, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and the two women who were in their like 90s.
Oh, Mae Young and who's the other one?
Mae Young, and she birthed the hand.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Come on, help us in the chat room.
Come on, chat, help us. Who birthed the hand? Who birthed the hand?
Help us know.
God. It was Mae Young, and it was.
Why am I drawing such a?
I can't either. Chat, come on, somebody in the chat. Who was 90 and gave birth to a hand?
Not Judy. No, Judy. Mae Young and Bubba put it through a table. Not Kane. Mae Young.
Oh, no. So Moolah. It was Moolah and Mae Young.
Moolah and Mae Young.
We had Mae Young, correct.
Yeah.
We had Mae Young. It's Moolah and Mae Young. Oh, my goodness. Are you kidding me? Vince.
What's that?
So I can't even believe they found this.
Another shot of me crying?
It's not a shot of you crying. Producer man, I need to have some clarification on this. So somebody just found a long-lost picture, and they're calling us a liar because we always said we never worked together before this show. And somebody just sent in a picture of another thing we worked on.
Yes. Bro, you know, the more I think about it, there needs to be a 70s pop group on JCW, 2 guys and 2 girls, BAAB. I need to make that happen. I need to make that happen. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bro, all the songs, the story behind every.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, my God.
That is awesome. Yes.
All right. That's going to do it for today. We've got no more time to waste with you idiots out there that we love so very, 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 very much. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, hit the share button, support all of our stuff because we support all of you. Vince, another great show, buddy.
Yeah, we covered a lot in this show, guys. Thank you for participating. It wouldn't be the same show without you guys, man.
No doubt about it. All right, for Mikey P behind the scenes, our associate producer, and of course, the man who runs it all, producer man himself, I am the coach. We'll see you back here on Wednesday afternoon from the dungeon, as Vince calls it. Until then, enjoy Monday Night Raw tonight. And let's just see how many of our ideas they actually take. There is only one, the Coach and Bro Show. Take care.